Good morning, Monday morning. It is pouring this morning. Heading now to Herzliya to StoreDot. This is a meeting around 5 years in the making. One of the most fascinating companies building incredible battery technology. After that, going to IDC in Herzliya to do a podcast and several other meetings in Herzliya. It's pouring. Here we go. Made it to Herzliya after a ridiculous amount of traffic. Parking. Going to StoreDot. I've been following Doron, the CEO, for years. Been wanting to demo this technology for a very long time. Basically to do some battery magic that you can charge batteries. You know, because batteries are like our biggest pain point today in the era of mobile phones and computing. Batteries, you know, suck. Or battery technology does. So these guys enable you to charge your batteries super quickly, and apparently it's pretty magical. Of course, the elevator's not working. Gotta find another elevator. Love my parking lot drama. All right, let's keep looking. Anyway, so I'm going in there. These guys are like PhDs. I'm talking white robes, the works. I'm gonna go and hopefully get some real life demo of the tech because I've never seen it working. I don't think many people have, so I'm pretty pumped about that. All right, gotta find the elevators. See, that says the elevators are that way, but there are no elevators that way, so not really sure. Let me just give a little bit of context here. So I'm up to episode like 320 or something like that.
Wow.
And the reason I started this vlog is because everyone in Silicon Valley knows Waze. But not a single person that I asked knows who Uri Levine is, right? Everyone knows Mobileye. Not a single person knows who Amnon Shashua is. Everyone knows Wix. Not a single person knows who Avishai. Like, what is going on? So I'm like, I'm meeting these incredible people in Israel. I'm gonna start spotlighting them. And what anybody who's watching this just reaches to the conclusion, because the story tells itself, is that there is something insane going on in this country in terms of innovation. Right. It's magic. We have all the excuses in the book in this tiny little country. There's no reason we should be leading every sector of technology. But at the end of the day, we do have a ceiling that is hard to break when you're sitting here in the Middle East. You're not in the US, you're not in Asia. How much can you really do? The company I'm sitting in right now disproves that theory, because you are changing the world.
Right.
Like literally, without any excitement and big, you are changing the world. And I'm gonna say, I gave a little introduction before on the way here, but our worlds have evolved fundamentally, completely 180 in terms of the way we engage with computers, let's call it, right? The way we interact with our devices. This is now a supercomputer, and obviously the drones and the AI and the robotics and the autonomous cars and on and on and on. They all share one thing in common, one major pain point that literally, I don't care who's watching this, feels that pain point. And the answer, that pain point is called battery technology.
Right.
It has not evolved at all.
Right.
It's ridiculous. Enter StoreDot. Who are you? What's your name?
My name is Doron Meyerstov.
By the way, I've been a fan for a long time. I just recently discovered that I'm even more of a fan than I knew before, because you're Guy's cousin, and I love Guy Horowitz, so that just adds extra brownie points for you. Okay.
Family is always a good thing.
I love Guy. Okay, so Doron Meyerstov, give me your 30-second background.
So I have a PhD in industrial engineering.
Does anyone here not have a PhD, by the way?
Well, when we were only 20 people, everybody had a PhD, but the receptionist. But right now, out of the 110 people, 35 are PhDs. We have 2 professors. So yeah, we are very heavy on the research side. I was in my last role VP at M Systems that was acquired by SanDisk. Then I was heading the SSD business. I actually started it at SanDisk.
So you were with Dov and Aryeh.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Aryeh Mergi.
I'm the biggest Aryeh Mergi fan.
Okay.
Is he not the most amazing person?
I'm his fan. Yeah, he's unbelievable.
These guys, you guys might not know who I'm talking about, but these guys invented the thumb drive. You know, the USB thumb drive that everyone uses? They invented it. M System was acquired by SanDisk for 2.6. How much? How much? 1.8? What was it?
It was 1.6.
$1.6 billion.
Yes.
That was a pretty big acquisition.
Yes.
You know JJ Sussman?
Yes.
Not even my boy. Okay, so fine. So you were VP, you said?
I was a VP at M Systems. Yeah.
Beautiful.
At SanDisk, I started the SSD business. Actually, most of my team was in the US. And then recently there was the acquisition of WD that bought SanDisk for, it was like 19 billion.
Yeah.
And it was for my product, right? So,
by the way, I have a pet peeve with SSD drives, but not for now. But they're very unstable in terms of the connection. I don't know what that is.
Oh, really? Oh.
Something strange. But anyway, okay, the topic for another time. So you come with this, hardcore, like deep technology background. Where else were you besides M Systems and SanDisk?
So I was in some startups in the Silicon Valley. One was called Siftology, still active. One was called Inner Presence, more security software. I was with consulting firm called Tefen for semiconductor.
Of course. Cool.
So
The real deal. Got it. I think you have the context. All right. So when did StoreDot start, and how did it start? Tell me the story here.
So we actually, together with the CTO, Professor Litzin, he was the chief scientist at SanDisk for Future Technologies, and we said we can actually improve flash memory with the new materials. And we presented to Samsung a new transistor that we actually did with the Tower semiconductor, Tower Jazz today. And we showed that with organic materials, you can actually write to the flash 3 times faster.
Okay.
Because in flash you have read and write. Write is slower because it needs to have a lot of verification.
Like upload and download kind of thing.
Yeah,
Okay,
exactly.
yeah. All right.
So we had a prototype of this transistor, and this is how we got our first $6 million investment from Samsung and others. We started working with Samsung teams, and they were sending dozens of people here to understand what we are showing and what we are doing, and they actually said this can have a lot of potential in other domains such as displays, and we actually have now a spin-off of StoreDot into displays.
I didn't know that.
Yeah,
Wow.
and it's a separate company called Moleculed.
Cool.
The main route that we took is to use these materials for fast charging of batteries.
Okay, so for the sake of brevity and for the sake of people's ADD, we're going to do a little demo, but just tell me in 10 seconds. The bottom line is you take this phone, right? You take a phone, you use your technology. What are the results for me as a consumer? What can you do with my phone?
So we will charge your phone in 5 minutes. We can actually do it faster, but then the charger needs to be bigger.
Yeah, but I saw that video that you showed me. It's on YouTube, by the way. It was seconds.
Yes, but this was with a huge charger. So basically what we show is that what was known in batteries to be the major problem of slow charging because of safety and heat and resistance, we show that with replacing the materials of a lithium-ion battery, basically we take out the graphite, you can actually charge very, very fast, something that was known to be impossible.
Right.
So we show that it is possible, and this is how we raised all this big money.
Wait, we'll get there. Hold on 1 second. So people came to this office, professors by the tens, and said, listen, Doron, what you think you're going to do is impossible. Like, from a chemistry perspective, you're insane. Like, it's not going to happen.
Exactly.
And not only did it happen, but now the entire industry, and when I say the entire industry, literally, the entire industry has aligned to you. This company, StoreDot, sitting in Herzliya, everyone else says, we're going to charge our batteries in 5 minutes, and you guys were the first to say it, and everyone thought you were nuts.
Exactly. Yeah, they said that we are insane, that this can never happen. We had due diligence, I would say, with 100 different entities. They all said, will never happen.
Okay, so now let me take a sharp turn here for 1 second. Cars. Right? Everyone talks about autonomous cars, and that's great, and that's the future and fantastic. Well, those things aren't actually mutually exclusive. Electric cars, everyone knows is, that's where we're going. As you said before, huge hockey stick coming, and there's a small little problem because every car is going to need batteries, right? And where are those batteries being created?
So most of the batteries today are being created in the Far East, like in Japan, Korea, and China. Today it's like 70%. In a few years it will be 85%. So there's going to be a major problem of, for the West. Where would the batteries come from? And especially China has already declared that batteries is a national security thing. So, as long as they have demand and they have infinite demand, you will not be able to sell batteries to the US. So there's going to be a major problem of supply for US electric cars.
Demand is exploding.
Demand will be crazy.
Exploding is not a good word, actually. No pun intended.
Not in batteries.
It's not a good idea. Okay, so basically the US and the West is going to need more and more batteries, and that's increasing exponentially, and the supply is not basically the only factory, is Elon Musk's factory of...
Which is also Panasonic technology and 50-50 JV or whatever.
So basically, enter StoreDot. I mean, you announced it recently on the news. You guys are raising $400 million to basically take your technology and scale it and build a factory in the U.S. where you can.
Exactly. So we are already working on that. There are several states that we are looking at, mostly in the southeast, but not only. There's a lot of incentives in different states. There's some government subsidies that we might be able to get because the U.S. also understand that this is a national security thing, and if they want to start replacing replacing fossil fuels, which they do, even with everything that Trump said, they're already doing it.
Right.
Global warming is a big issue. You need to get all the pollution out of the cities. This is the only way that you can really do this is with electric vehicles.
And when you say, by the way, the U.S. and the national security, all this stuff, I mean, you've literally been in the White House to talk about this
We've
stuff.
been in the White House several times. We are talking to the NSA. We are talking to the DOE, DOD. Yeah, I mean, you can talk to them.
Okay, listen. Bottom line is like this. Let's go look at some stuff. I mean, it's truly incredible. You're sitting in Herzl. You have another office, by the way?
No, there are some people in China, in Japan, but not an office. They travel back and forth all the time.
How many people work here?
110.
How much money have you raised?
130. From TDK, Samsung, BP, Daimler, and some private people.
So like I mean, you know, if you have any doubts about the validity or the legitimacy of this technology, just look at their investors. I actually wrote an article yesterday. Sometimes, not always, but sometimes you can say, show me who your investors are and I'll show you who you are. I mean, this company you guys raised from the biggest names and not a little money either, and now you're going for a massive round. It's incredible. It really is truly incredible. It should not have taken us this long to meet, but let's go walk around and see what's up.
Okay.
Thanks, man.
So we have a big cafeteria here, so in this space we can actually put all the 110 people together.
Love it.
So we opened the space here because we took also floor 4.
Wow.
Yeah.
What's up, guys?
Hey.
Amazing.
It's empty because everybody's at the lab working. Here is just where they sit.
Love it. Beautiful office. Beautiful.
Oh, everybody's actually in here. You can tell it.
Whoa.
This is just one team. This is the chemistry team.
Chemistry team. Not every startup has a chemistry team.
Right.
StoreDot Labs. To you, please. Just a white coat. Gotta love the white coats.
Yeah, we do need those.
All right. I always wanted to wear one of those. Look, Mom, I'm a doctor.
Actually, this lab has several sections. So we're gonna start with organic synthesis.
What?
So what we do here, we synthesize new materials. This is when we said this is the group that was sitting there in the conference room. These materials are new organic compounds that have specific functions within the battery, such as reducing the resistance or being a binder that holds the active materials such as silicon together, or some coating that we do. So each one is a different experiment that is basically a synthesis the same way that you would do in drug development.
Tell me the truth. Are you developing meth here? You doing meth?
We are doing, yeah, Mr. White.
There you go.
Remember Walter White? So this is what Walter White does. So we have here all the formulations, and there are reactions that are taking place in order to make sure that you reach the right compound structure. So these materials are actually, this is where it all starts, and these raw materials go into the batteries together with the active material. So we'll go to the bigger room where we have, you'll see many glove boxes. These are like mini environments of clean rooms.
Holy smokes! Wow.
So here basically the way that we work, you put your hands inside and you walk inside the glove box. And so it will be like an inert environment with argon base, so no oxygen, no humidity, just walking inside the clean room. And here each one of these is a different vial that basically takes those materials and starts mixing them with silicon, tin, germanium, whatever active material we use in order to create the formulation that has low resistance but very high energy.
Dude, this is so cool.
So basically what we are preparing here, little test vehicles. So these are like coin cells that each one can be only an anode or only a cathode or a full cell that actually demonstrates the capabilities of the materials to be fast charged. So for those materials that we identified that are actually the best, we can take them to the next level, which is the scale-up, actually producing a full battery. So let's go to the scale-up area. What we are designing here are the mixers for the materials like we saw in a small vial. Now we have it in a much larger jars. Very high-speed mixer, 24,000 RPM, in order to make sure that physically we connect the organic material with the nanoparticles. And here is when we do the coating, and very thin layer of coating of the active material on the current collector. So once we have, we go through these ovens here, going into the dry room area. So this dry room here, we'll see from the other side is the actual production of the assembly of the battery.
Wow.
And then it comes out to the chamber here, into the last section of basically electrolyte filling. This is where we actually seal the battery. You can see a bunch of batteries in there. These are already fully produced batteries. After this phase, we can go down to the basement and do the actual formation. Because even after you assemble the battery, it's still not electrically functional.
Right.
You need to do its first charge.
Yep.
It's called formation.
Super cool. Dude, this is like super geeky. I love it.
You don't think that in Herzliya Pituach you're going to
I know, right?
that,
No
right?
joke.
Yeah.
Funny.
We are hiding in like in an office building.
Yeah.
But here what you see here is the actual stacker that takes the anodes and the cathodes that were prepared in the other room and stacks them together with the Z-folding of the separator. This is the white foil. And then at the end of this process you get the full battery. So you can see the electrodes here. These black squares is actually each one is an electrode with our active material that, as we said, has very low resistance but can charge very, very fast.
Incredible.
With the full energy.
Freaking crazy.
Here we have, you know, all the analysts that are looking at the actual performance. So we can see the viscosity of the material, we can see the size of the particles and the structure and all that.
Mm-hmm.
And here we have a whole group of working on the next generation of the batteries. To make sure that, you know, we are always ahead of the game when we are starting to share the technology with the Japanese and the Chinese. We have, you know, Gen 2 and Gen 3 in the pipeline, so we stay ahead of the game. So what we're gonna actually do now, we're gonna take off the robes and go to the basement where we have the thousands of batteries that were already produced, and they are going through the cycling of, you know, need to reach thousands of cycles.
Right.
So this takes a lot of time,
Right.
even though the charging is very fast, but the discharging is slow.
Right. But before we do that, we have to take a picture of us in robes.
Okay.
This is like
Yeah.
this is
Nice.
I've always my mom always wanted to see me in a white
Okay.
robe.
So here is where we actually have all the cyclers protected in the basement, where each of those is going through you know, thousands of cycles. We can show you the demonstration of a 5-minute charging of a full cell.
Let's do it.
So let's do it.
The cell itself is over there.
All right.
We are charging this cell. This is a phone cell,
Okay.
phone battery,
Yeah.
that will show you the real-time charging through the cycler system.
Okay.
So you can see all the parameters on the screen of how, you know, we put the very high current and it's getting fully charged in 5 minutes.
This is the battery cell.
The battery cell.
Yeah.
Got it.
So you can see this is our desktop kind of.
That's the
yeah,
cell, okay.
that's the battery itself.
Yep.
Now it's on rest. In a few seconds.
Where's the camera here that shows it?
This is one.
Oh, this is the camera,
Yeah.
so we see it here.
Yeah.
Got it.
So this is demo that we used for like clients or
Got
to
it.
demonstrate it overseas.
So we are going now into the management system of the cycler to
Yep.
give it instruction to start pumping a lot of current into the cell. This is actually very high current. We are looking at 50 amps plus for a
How much is the regular charge?
1 amp or 2 amps. So this
For
is
this one is 12 amp for a 1 amp hour cell.
so this
it's-
is a 1 amp power cell. So we'll charge it first at 12 amps.
Yeah, so
You'll
we
see-
just started, all right? So you can see here all the data actually. And you will see it's gonna raise up very fast because of the fast
Yeah.
charging.
The green light here shows that it's charging. Right, so it's charging, it's getting now the high current through these tabs, and we can actually see all the parameters of the cell.
Yeah.
So now it's at 9% in like 20 seconds.
Yeah, and this is the current, you see, so it's 12 amps.
Yeah.
Yeah, and this is a 1 amp hour cell, so it means it's multiplied by 12, the capacity of the cell. Usually you multiply it by 1,
Right.
and that's even considered as fast charge.
You know, even though it's a very small cell, the chemistry allows it. So potentially I can do a full battery of a car. It will be the same chemistry. I just need a much bigger charger.
Right.
Let's say for a Tesla, I would need maybe 750 kilowatt charger in order to charge fully the Tesla in 5 minutes.
Right.
But the chemistry is the same.
Right.
So it doesn't matter that it's a small one. We are showing a new chemistry that fully charges in 5 minutes.
Another aspect is the resistance of the cell and the temperature that it's lead to. So our cell is characterized with really low internal resistance, and then you can see the temperature. So the temperature now on the cell is around 29 degrees, and it's not gonna pass the 40, all right? So there is a thermistor here just beneath the cell that measure the temperature, and you can see how it's tracked, and now we are on 30 degrees, so it's not getting
not getting hot.
too hot as people may think that.
Right. So, I mean, in addition to your battery charging technology, just as important is your cooling technology.
It's not a cooling technology, it's just characteristics of the cell itself of internal resistance. Very low internal resistance that enable the actual fast charge.
In the vehicle, it is very important for us to be integrated into the cooling system of the battery in order to make sure that it always stays within the right ambient temperature. So we are integrating into the new cooling features, both of the cable during charging, the connector, and the actual battery. It's very important.
We're at 51% here.
Yeah.
Incredible.
Yeah.
Super awesome. All right, guys, thanks.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. All right, nice to meet you, man. Toda. Love it, love it, love it, love it.
What you see here is basically all these are batteries that are in an enclosure just for safety, to make sure that they are protected. But each one of them is a battery that we have produced. And as you can see by the running number, there are already thousands of batteries. This is battery number 2314 that we produced, and it's going through many, many cycles in order to make sure that it will have enough life out in the field.
Right. Mind blown. That's about as good as it gets in terms of meaningful, impactful, incredible, mind-blowing technology. Truly revolutionary. I love meeting people that are just like 50 levels above my intelligence grade. StoreDot.com. Incredible. Now off to IDC to do a podcast interview. I come to IDC like once a year to do a lecture here, but this is the first time I'm at IDC not to do a lecture. I'm meeting this good-looking guy. What's your name?
Lorenzo.
Lorenzo, where are you from?
Belgium. Yeah.
Belgium, very cool. What are we doing here today?
We're gonna have an interview. I want to know a bit more about you, you know, the things you don't say on all your vlogs. Okay. Maybe, I don't know.
All right. See. So it's a podcast for the students?
Yeah, like more for me also. I started because I wanted to get in touch with a lot of people higher up the career path. And a good way is to do the radio show, because everybody says yes when you say you have a radio show, you know?
So it's like, what, an IDC radio show?
Yeah.
Cool. Very nice. For the students, though.
Yeah, everybody could join. It's more of a, like, I would say amateur radio show where everybody just tries out.
Cool, like a podcast. Beautiful.
Slowly, yeah. I'm here with Hillel Fold. Hillel, would you like to introduce yourself? What do you exactly do? I feel like you do a bit of everything.
Well, that could take a whole half an hour for me to introduce myself.
I know, but I can short, like, how would you describe yourself and your job?
I'm a content guy turned marketing guy turned startup guy turned tech guy.
Oh, wow. And what did you, like, study to get into that?
Political science.
And do you feel like this helped you?
Absolutely not.
No?
I mean, it's good to have a degree, but political science has nothing to do with what I do today. And you know, I did it because it was an interesting degree, pretty easy degree, and I just kind of transitioned into tech accidentally, completely.
Accidentally, or like were you always like involved in it as a small kid?
Not at all. Tech wasn't a thing when I was a small kid.
Oh no.
No, I love technology, and I just kind of followed. I know this is super cliche, but I just followed my passion, and I ignored everyone and their business advice, and I just did what I loved. And turns out, when you do what you love and you help other people win, you end up winning.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Hillel.
Thanks, man.
Hope to stay in touch.
For sure. Thanks. So I made it to Herzliya Pituach. Now I'm going to meet in Wine to meet an old friend, Elliot Grossbart, and I had a little less luck with parking this time. Circled for like 15 minutes, and now I'm like 20 minutes late. I hate that. But on the good side, I'm going to meet in Wine. Love that place. One of my favorite restaurants in Israel, like definitely the best. Well, Herbert Samuel was the best in Herzliya, but this is the second best. Meat and Wine. Look at these spare ribs. How was the food, dude? Amazing. Scale of 1 to 10. 12. Dude, like bonkers that food, honestly. The wind here is super duper violent. That's why I'm holding my kippah in my hand. Who are you? What's your name?
Elliot Grossbart, WaterGen USA.
Last time you met?
In Miami International Airport before you took off.
True story. He came to the airport to give me Gary Vee's book. No, was it Gary Vee's book?
It was Gary Vee's book.
Oh, it was Tim Ferriss's book.
Yeah, Tools of Titans.
Yeah. What do you do real quick?
VP of Sales and Marketing for the US branch of WaterGen.
WaterGen, a company
that makes water from air.
Taking air, turning it into water. True
Cleanest,
story.
safest, best tasting water on the planet.
So I like that a lot, but I like Ferraris better. So we're gonna have to check this out right now. What a day that was. Holy smokes. I just got home. It's 8:28 p.m. Been out since 6:30. Tomorrow, heading to Tel Aviv to meet some entrepreneurs, including C-Tree, Barak, a couple other meetings. It's going to be a fantastic day tomorrow. See you then.